Welcome back to Motivation Nation. It's story time. I'm your host, Al Gordon. Look, I had to take a seat for this one. This is a doozy. So, this is coming from Jimmy back from 2007. Jimmy lived in Washington, D.C. area, right? Northern Virginia. And so just put your mindsets back into 2007 with this story. I'm probably gonna have to make two parts because it's kind of long. So here we go. Let's right with no further ado. Here we go. So Jimmy said 2007. He was around 25 years old. Met a young lady at a nightclub, H2O. Anybody who lived in DC at that time, everybody knows H2O was off the hook. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So he meets a young lady at H2O. The young lady has a child. Now, this is his first time ever dating a woman with a child, right? So usually that's a deal breaker for him, but he said he's going to try new things. So he takes her number. They get to talking. He had a bunch of red flags pop up almost immediately, but he ignored them just because he was trying to get to know the lady. So 2007, if you were 25 in your 20s, been to college, graduated, living on your own like he was, and she said that she was as well. Back then, that's when the cell phones really had the cell phone boom. So everybody had a cell phone. You wouldn't catch a young person without a cell phone. Like pretty much what it swelled into today, but 2007 to around that time frame, 04, 05, 06, that's when it really, really picked up. So you didn't catch people, and she was around 25, 26 at the time. I think if he was 25, she was 27. You don't catch a 27-year-old without a cell phone. So she told him, man, I don't have a cell phone. And he was like, that's kind of strange. You said you have a child. What would happen if the daycare needed to call you and you weren't home, right? Because all of their communication happened on a landline. So she was like, oh, well, it's no big deal. I never really thought about it like that, but I'm cool. Everything's been going fine. He's like, cool. Because I want to say he said her daughter was about 5 years old at the time. So that's red flag number one. You are 27 years old and you don't have a cell phone. He didn't believe that, right? That just doesn't make any sense. And you have a child. So it's like, what mother is going to have a child and no cell phone and anything happen with their child at a daycare and they at work, right? So he thought that was strange. But they talked a good month and a half before they actually went out on a date. And they always talked on the landline. And another red flag, her mother lived with her. Now, he doesn't know if the mother lived with her, she lived with the mother, but she kept saying, oh, yeah, my mom lives here, she's going through something, yada, yada, yada. He didn't really care. Good conversation. They enjoyed talking to each other, laugh, kiki, the whole nine. So like I said, about a month and a half passed by. Now he lived in Virginia, she lived in Maryland. So they made a date. They made a decision to go out on a date. They want to go out, hang out a little bit, just the two of them, just get to know each other because they've been having good conversations for the past 6 to 8 weeks. So when he pulls up, he gets ready, goes, middle of the day. It's a weekday, not a weekend. It's a weekday. It's in the middle of the day and a weekday because that's when she said that she was off. So he goes up there and knocks on the door. And then it's her and her daughter. Now, she never told him the daughter was coming. So this throws a monkey wrench in all the plans that he had. So, no big deal, whatever. So he's like, hey, so what do you want to do? I mean, you bring in your daughter. What do you want to do? Oh, well, let's just go to IHOP and get something to eat. Fine. So that's a red flag. You didn't tell him your daughter was going to be there. So put the daughter in the back seat. No baby seat, no nothing. Thugging it out. So they go to IHOP. When they get to IHOP, the man says it was nothing short of a nightmare. The 5-year-old was a complete wild animal and maniac, and her mom wouldn't keep the wild animal under control. So the girl's jumping up and down on the table, doing this, that, and the third. He's ready to go. So, he's trying to speed this up. Once the baby got on the table and started jumping up and down, he's like, okay, hey, it's time. It's time. So right when he said it's time, a phone rings. Bring, bring, bring. Bring, bring, bring. Now, he knew his ringtones. He's looking at her. She's looking around like she don't know what's going on. He's like, it's a phone ringing. She's like, it is. He's like, absolutely. Come on now, the phone, it's on you. So she ignores it. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He looking at her crazy. So the phone starts ringing. Phone starts ringing again. Bling, 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 bling. She acting crazy again. So now he's like, it stopped. So he's like, listen, man, you can stop the charades. I know you got a cell phone. Just go ahead and answer it. It might be an emergency. So the third time it rings, boom, she picks the phone up. She immediately turns her head, starts whispering. So he couldn't hear what was going on. So Jimmy's perplexed by this, like, okay, this girl said she didn't have no cell phone. She's been adamant about this for 2 months. Why now does she have a cell phone? So she hangs up, boom. So he's like, I thought you didn't have a cell phone. Oh, well, yeah, I got one just in case something, you know what I'm saying, happened with my daughter at the daycare. All right, see, that's what he told us. So that's the BS. So now red flags already up. So now he's like, okay, yeah, it's really time to go ahead and go. So no sooner than he said, all right, cool, check, please. He's paying the bill. Now, this is back in the day when they had the Nextel chirp. Some people might not. So if you're too young, you don't know about the Nextel chirps, right? But back then, Nextel had the chirp. So people would always chirp in, hey, what's going on? So all he hears is, hey, where you at? What's going on? So he looks like, what? Okay, so not only does the girl have one cell phone, she has two cell phones. So she's, handling some business, getting something to eat. This is her job. So her job gave her a cell phone. So she's actually supposed to be at work. She's ducking work. So she's explaining to the job this, that, and the third. She gonna get the reports done. She gonna be back. She'll have them done in an hour. Boom. So he takes her back to the house because now he's ready to definitely get out of there. So they get back to the apartment. He comes in. Jimmy sits down. She goes to the back. Hey, just wait right here. Don't go. I'm gonna take the baby back here. Just wait right here. Don't go nowhere. So he's looking around, right? So she puts the baby down. She come back changed. She comes out in this very revealing nightgown-ish. Talking about, just let me get the baby down and we going to talk. Maybe have, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, but he's looking around. He's feeling very uncomfortable about this because he's thinking about the cell phone. He's thinking about, hey, the mom lives here. Hey, but the more and more he looks around, the more and more it's starting to look like this woman is married. But never in the whole time that they've been talking has she mentioned the man. As a matter of fact, she's been adamant about her being single and that she doesn't have no man and don't need no man and all this. But the more and more he's looking around the living room, stuff is set up like a married couple lives there, just minus the pictures. But it doesn't look like she lives there alone. And you can tell when somebody lives with someone. So no sooner than he looks around and she comes back out, you start to hear a key going in the door and the door starts to jiggle. Okay, I'm going to cut it right here. I'll see y'all back for part 2.